PayMe has proven to be able to penetrate a market that's been led by giants, but we believe their capabilities can bring them much further. Good morning from Team Malaysia. I, Alma, alongside my teammates, David, Matthew, and Chihoy, are here today to help strategize the leap that PayMe should take in order to trailblaze the e-wallet market and bring PayMe to the next level. Launched by HSBC in February 2017, PayMe is a mobile payment service created to make small payments without cash or checks through a seamless process. With a user base that's grown to 2.7 million Hong Kongers out of the total 7.4 million, it is no surprise that PayMe managed to bag the 2018 FinTech Grand Award, as they were quick to fill in the gaps between users' needs and the shift to digital. They continue to grow both their P2P and P2M segments, and from here, we recognize that one of PayMe's biggest unique selling points is a user-friendly app that integrates an interactive social networking experience. Moving on, let's delve deeper into PayMe's current standing. Through further analysis, we've seen that PayMe's USPs derive from their strengths in the market. This does not only include their user-friendly platform and social interaction features, but also their growing presence among customers and merchants in Hong Kong. Despite this, we recognize several internal and external problems, such as lack of data privacy, which increases chances of security fraud, and limited features such as the inability to process international transfers that can be exploited by external competitors. Hence, there are several opportunities identified and presented in the case that can be leveraged on, such as, firstly, the expansion of digital services to diversify offerings. Secondly, tapping into the potential of acquiring Gen Zs. Thirdly, anchoring on external industries such as entertainment and e-commerce. And fourthly, becoming a social ecosystem. We then looked into the market in Hong Kong and found that digital wallets as a payment method were the second most preferred mode of payment for e-commerce purchases. Additionally, 62% of consumers mentioned in a study conducted by JP Morgan that they prefer e-wallets with social functions such as chats. We also see that the segment will continue to grow as digital wallets are expected to become the most popular e-payment by 2025. From here, PayMe has rightfully tapped into the booming e-wallet segment by catering to both current and future demands, which successfully rebranded HSBC as a young bank among its consumers. Despite its current successes, PayMe's revenue model is financially unsustainable. For P2P, users are not imposed with any fees, while for merchants, 1.2 to 1.5% is imposed for business app and post-terminal transactions. From here, we can see two main things. Firstly, PayMe is solely reliant on its merchants for revenue growth, and secondly, there is an untapped opportunity to convert P2P into active paying users. Hence, there is still a lot of room for improvement on PayMe's model to increase its profitability within the e-wallet sector. Next, we look into PayMe standing against its competitors. In Hong Kong, Alipay, WeChat Pay, and Tap & Go are some of the biggest players within the local e-wallet industry. Based on this analysis of features that are offered by each player, PayMe does not seem far behind at all, as it provides similar offerings to its competitors. However, there is still a gap in dominating the market, as PayMe, classified here as an e-wallet from a bank, accounts for only about 18.9% of the major e-payment platforms used in Hong Kong, thus drastically losing out on both local and international players such as Alipay, PayPal, WeChat Pay, and even Apple Pay. This poses a strain on PayMe's ability to compete in the already saturated market. Hence, we analyze the different industries that our competitors have ventured into to stay relevant in the market. Verticals such as groceries, ride-hailing, logistics, food delivery, and messaging are currently concentrated with players. Meanwhile, payments, banking, and software as a service are potential areas that PayMe can capitalize on to stay ahead of its competitors and maintain relevance in the market. Considering that PayMe has only quite recently established a foothold, we see that there is stiff competition between e-wallet players within the Hong Kong market. PayMe still lacks the differentiating factors that's necessary to stand out from bigger players, and they own little market share. From here, we see that it is of utmost necessity for PayMe to offer differentiated services so that they can drive higher adoption among users and successfully compete with more experienced players. Therefore, we see a potential for PayMe to expand into other key markets in order to solidify its position in Hong Kong before expanding internationally.
Moving forward, PayMe's next step to build on its current success must be able to first expand its active charging user base, and second, increase in-app monetization. Our strategy is twofold. First, increase monetization for existing customers on both users, peer-to-peer, as well as merchants, the P2M branch, as well as secondly, to attract new users and widen its existing active users base. First, we propose launching PayMe Insights, a platform as a service model that generates actionable recommendations for merchants based on customer data collected. Second, we propose launching Play With Me that incorporates gaming and entertainment with PayMe. We chose to double down on these industries as Hong Kong mobile users spend most of the time streaming videos, whereas gaming is one of the fastest growing industries in Hong Kong. Together, we're able to increase monthly active users, in turn onboarding more merchants, and establish stickiness for PayMe's platform. Turning first to PayMe Insights. It is a platform as a service model targeting businesses. This platform analyzes data collected from consumer spending and generates actionable insights for merchants. Based on merchants' needs, PayMe will then be able to upsell financial products for them. Equally, users will also be pushed personal finance products. This move is crucial as profits in merchant acquisition are shifting from traditional processing and terminals to value-added services. This includes financing tools such as lending, and even software such as gateways, business management tools, and customer-facing solutions. Here, PayMe Insights aims to double down on value-added services for both merchants and users by leveraging on HSBC's banking expertise. For merchants, the platform provides data on consumer spending and actionable insights to grow their business powered by AI big data algorithms. For individual users, the platform offers personal finance products such as spend analysis and budgeting. Beyond additional features, the platform strengthens PayMe's existing ecosystem, the social function element via gamification features that encourage users to track their process spending habits on the app. For instance, if one updates monthly expenditure on the app, it will then entitle the user to redeem certain points and vouchers. Turning first to the merchant side, we propose launching a 3-tier model to convert merchants into paying merchants. First, under the silver tier, basic services such as tracking operational data will be provided for free to get buy-in from users. Moreover, key business advices such as regulatory updates will be provided to all merchants and easily understandable nuggets. Second, under the gold tier, merchants will be encouraged to pay a small monthly subscription fee to access specialized services such as procurement and bookkeeping. Paying merchants can now access targeted customer insights narrowed down by demographics to the very location that they operate in. As the majority of Hong Kong transactions happen via cards, PayMe can potentially roll out services aimed at reducing chargebacks. Such services aligns with basic business operations, differentiating ourselves from Alibaba digital marketing initiatives. As more than 98% of Hong Kong business consists of SMEs, we believe that a simple solution, leveraging PayMe's direct interface, will encourage merchants to give the service a try, an attempt to improve efficiency and stand out in the competitive market. Third, the platinum tier, where users will have access to AI-tailored recommendations, extending to competitors' activities, as well as selected HSBC privileges. But PayMe Insights does more than data service. Leveraging onto those business needs, we recommend PayMe to upsell financial products to merchants. For example, a merchant that faces a spike in sales may be looking to take on loans to expand its capacity. On that note, we suggest introducing 4 types of basic financial products on PayMe Insights, such as insurance, credit lines, deposit and investment, as well as merchant financing. In doing so, this is a win-win strategy as PayMe can further capitalize on HSBC's expertise and good branding. Turning next to individual users, we see huge potential for PayMe to monetize its P2P users via personal finance products. The case for change is simple. Hong Kong has a high internet penetration at 90%. It has a highly banked population, with each citizen having 3.5 cards. Third, and more pertinently, the revenue generated for other financial products, such as investment, alternative financing, is actually almost 10 times higher than the transaction fee generated from digital payments. Tapping into recent PayMe success in positioning HSBC as a young brand, coupled with HSBC heritage, puts PayMe Insights in a unique position to launch this platform. Through this, users is able to perform spend analysis, budgeting, and goal savings. This data collected can be further utilized down the road to launch other offerings, such as enabling them to file tax returns on the app itself. Equally, users will then be introduced to other HSBC financial products such as loan and investments. Through PayMe Insights, we believe that PayMe will be able to provide an all-in-one platform tailored to the differing needs of merchants and users. Its convenience and ease to use renders it a unique-to-market offering. This in turn onboard new users, convert them into active users, increase platform stickiness, and increase the revenue generated per user.
Now, beyond diversifying PayMe through software as a service with PayMe Insights, we believe there's also a promising area PayMe can expand our offering to. Hence, we recommend Play With Me, a one-stop online storefront for all gaming and entertainment needs. Now, there are many areas of potential interest for PayMe. However, we believe entertainment is one that stands out for various reasons. Entertainment in this instance is broken down into both gaming and video-on-demand services, both of which are hugely promising in Hong Kong. Gaming has a massive 980 million Hong Kong dollar revenue, which includes both game purchases and in-game purchases. User penetration is high, and it also has an attractive CAGR of 8.7%. For video-on-demand services, there's an annual 1.7 billion Hong Kong dollar revenue with an equally high user penetration and a stable CAGR which is in excess of 5%. The gaming and video-on-demand area is particularly attractive to e-wallets such as PayMe, as it has a consistently active user base. There are nearly 2.2 million gamers in Hong Kong who spend at least 40 Hong Kong dollars a month. Meanwhile, there are nearly 1.7 million video-on-demand subscribers with a minimum spend of 72 Hong Kong dollars a month. A hugely important observation is that between both gaming and video-on-demand, the spending here is almost always recurring at a monthly rate at least, and this is due to a few reasons. For gamers, they often purchase monthly game passes or specific time-limited items that expire within a set time period, usually a month. And obviously, video on demand is usually a monthly subscription. Hence, tapping into this area will give PayMe access to a high amount of monthly active users, which will increase our stickiness. Now, under status quo, a customer has to pay for each purchase or subscription for the entertainment through different applications and use different types of payments, which is not the most convenient thing. It takes time and it takes effort to remember when your billing is or which card you're using to pay for it. Hence, Pay With Me provides a convenient one-stop solution for all entertainment needs. For gamers, they'll be able to purchase and gift game credits and reloads from a variety of platforms such as Steam, PlayStation, and the Play Store. They'll be able to make purchases for popular games as well. And for video on demand, they'll be able to pay for their subscriptions on popular platforms such as Netflix, View, and MyTV Super. With Play With Me, we will help to maintain all the fun without any of the hassle. Now, here's a simple overview of how Pay With Me might be for a user. In Discover, users will be able to browse PayMe and find their preferred gaming or video on demand platform to purchase credits and reloads. Once they select their preferred product, they'll be given two options. They can either buy it for themselves, or secondly, there will be a social aspect where they'll be able to gift it to a friend. For example, if they know a friend is stressed and bored, why not buy a credit and give it to your friend? If you know a friend is stuck at home and is feeling bored, why not buy your friend and give a friend a movie pass? So not only are users able to buy fun for themselves, they'll be able to share the fun with others, which we believe is a great way to attract potential new users to PayMe as well. And lastly, users who purchase through PayMe will be able to be incentivized with rewards in the future. Moreover, we believe that Play With Me actually has good headroom to grow. Beyond the features that I just explained, there are also potential add-ons that we could explore, such as the PayMe Gaming Pass, which will give games extra rewards for their next purchase, as well as expanding our services to include lifestyle entertainment such as ebooks, news portals, and music subscriptions as well. Now, to summarize, Play With Me will grow PayMe through positioning and increasing our active users. Firstly, we improve our stickiness by tapping on an active customer with recurring purchases. We better appeal to potential entertainment-centric customers such as Gen Z, which is still relatively untapped in the Hong Kong market. And with positioning, we can position PayMe as a fun and indispensable part of life. And we believe that there is still significant headroom for PayMe to grow in this particular industry. Now, in terms of our strategic roadmap, adopting a very optimistic view that there won't be any significant setbacks, we envision being able to roll out initiatives within a year. For insights, we'll develop our capabilities, pilot it with focus groups before conducting process improvements prior to scaling. And for Play With Me, it's important for us to develop our capacity and secure partnerships with the relevant stakeholders, improving it with an initial pilot and hoping to be able to scale it effectively. And in the long run, beyond just the 12 months, we do believe that both these services can actually be expanded to markets where HSBC has big presence in.
There are 3 risks which may adversely affect our timeline and 3 proposed strategies for harm minimization. Firstly, fierce external competition from competing e-wallets with an established foothold in Hong Kong, such as WeChat Pay and Alipay, is the biggest risk to our model. Our unique software as a service and gaming entertainment offering positions us uniquely to hedge this risk. Next, the collection of data for PayMe insights on both the merchant and consumer end raises the potential risk of privacy concerns. Consistent risk assessments will be conducted, and cyber liability insurance, as well as HSBC's bank standard encryption, are our mitigation strategies. We always have our customers at the forefront of our decision-making calculus. Potential low adoption among users can be hedged through boosting brand awareness, through KOL marketing, and incentives in the form of rewards and discounts. Ladies and gentlemen, my financial overview will be segmented into a 3-part bottom-up approach consisting of revenue drivers for Play With Me and PayMe Insights, cost-benefit analysis, and a high-level project evaluation. Firstly, I'll analyze the revenue drivers of our 2 key initiatives in year 0. For Play With Me, we assume a yearly average revenue per user of 785 Hong Kong dollars, with 2 million expected users at a 10% conversion rate. Of these 200,000 users, we will charge a 1.5% transaction fee for both consumers and a merchant discount rate for merchants offering gaming and video on-demand products. For PayMe Insights, we opt for a subscription model with the goal of capturing our 34,000 existing merchants and 2.7 million existing PayMe customers through increasing brand stickiness within the app. This model, in its pilot year, will offer a rate of 20 Hong Kong dollars a month for merchants and 5 Hong Kong dollars a month for PayMe users, with a long-term goal of expanding this offering to a tiered subscription model for further revenue generation after this initial step. Aggregating the revenues from both Play With Me and PayMe Insights, we forecast 4.2 million Hong Kong dollars in revenues in year 0. However, accounting for potential downside risk due to the crowding out effect in Hong Kong's e-wallet ecosystem, our Grey Skies revenue is forecasted at 2.7 million Hong Kong dollars. And at the same time, user adoption rates greater than the 4% and 1% outlined in Insights will drive revenues to a Blue Skies projection of 8.3 million Hong Kong dollars at a 4% conversion rate. As a top-line summary, we project our base case revenues of 4.2 million Hong Kong dollars at 350,000 monthly active paying users as a highly achievable metric for success. Major costs for both initiatives are attributed to app development and integration, technical staff wages, server maintenance, as well as SG&A expenses to bring total cost to 9.5 million Hong Kong dollars. From the 4.2 million Hong Kong dollars forecasted in year 0, we projected revenues up to 2027 at an average growth rate of 11%, with a 60-40 mix of revenue contribution from Play With Me and PayMe Insights, respectively. Netting out aggregate revenues and expenditures for all 5 years results in a net profit of 14.7 million Hong Kong dollars to the firm. Evaluating both initiatives in terms of dollar value today, we arrive at a net present value of 6 million Hong Kong dollars, discounted at a weighted average cost of capital of 4.07%. Consequently, the 5-year CAGR for our initiative stands at 5.8%. And so to quantify impact, Play With Me and PayMe Insights will bring an additional 350,000 monthly active paying users on top of their existing consumer base, with an average revenue per user of 785 Hong Kong dollars.
Ladies and gentlemen, our strategies focus on 2 main pillars: monetizing existing users through PayMe Insights and increase new active users through Play With Me. With PayMe Insights, we focus on formulating actionable insights based on customer spending and introducing financial functions to leverage on HSBC's strength to strengthen user adoption. With Play With Me, we focus on providing an end-to-end solution for entertainment needs through game credits, reloads, and video on-demand subscriptions to capitalize on an untapped market and increase user stickiness. These strategies increase revenue through higher active users, thus solidifying our position as an e-wallet player in Hong Kong. Thus, ladies and gentlemen, we believe that with PayMe Insights and Play With Me, we can definitely pioneer the e-wallet market in Hong Kong. Thank you.
Thank you, Team Malaysia, for your presentation. Let's put a timer on 15, and I would now like to invite the judges to ask questions. Judges.
Hey, I've got a question. Maybe I'll go first this time. Thanks, team. I think one thing that I would love if you can talk me through your thought process. So I understand the PayMe Insights idea and how you've sort of stitched together merchant and consumer. And then the Play with Me is an interesting idea standalone, but I can't understand how the two come together. It feels like you came up with two ideas, you couldn't decide and put them both on the board, right? So can you talk me through the logic of why we think the two sit side by side?
Yeah, maybe I'll take that question, right? So we understand that the solutions are actually very different. It's very, very different. But I think what we wanted to do when it came to sort of like growing PayMe, because we noted that for e-wallet players, a key problem was always about ensuring active users in terms of people who use and actually make transactions on the platform. And at the same time, we also noticed that monetization was also an area that we felt that PayMe could improve upon. So those were the core factors that we were looking at. Those were the two key drivers that we were looking at: monetization and increasing the number of new and existing active users. So we asked ourselves what would be the two most useful things for us to look at. And we decided to come up with PayMe Insights because that would be a great way to monetize not only merchants, but also consumers who would also be looking to improve their financial spending. And we also thought that when it came to looking at what were the other verticals that we could also potentially expand into, there was a slide that was talking about the other different verticals that other competitors are already in. And when we looked at some of it, like for example, like groceries, ride hailing, logistics, food delivery, and messaging, we noted that these verticals have already been heavily saturated with other players such as WeChat Pay and Alipay, which already have a very strong lead over us. So we thought, what else could we go into that would be a new way for us to increase our monthly active users? And that's where we settled upon gaming. Even though they are very different, but we felt that by tapping on both gaming and insight, we'll be able to achieve our two goals of monetization and increasing our monthly active users.
Okay, any second question from the judges, please?
Hi, just the writing on Play With Me idea, right? So it's basically a content business, right? Entertainment or gaming. So it's kind of like Netflix and Razer, right? So as a bank, how do you envision we broach into this territory? Is this the best use of our strength? And have you studied the attainability versus attractiveness? And how do you attain this?
Okay, maybe I'll take that question on Play With Me. So if I understood your question correctly, it was about whether or not it was actually a good thing for HSBC for us to explore and how we can go into it. So we're not actually producing the content. So it's just a storefront for users to potentially buy game credits as well as reloads. So we do feel that in a sense, it is actually quite attainable for us because it's not something that is particularly difficult. It's just combining everything all into one because we already have the capabilities to perform transactions. So it's just about onboarding potential merchants who provide these gaming as well as video on demand subscriptions. And in terms of the potential attractiveness, I'll do it in both two ways. So for consumers, I do feel it's pretty attractive because as of now, if I'm a gamer and if I'm also a video consumer, usually what happens is that Netflix will bill me, View will bill me separately. If I want to have a game pass on Mobile Legends or Genshin, I have to pay for it separately. So it's 4 separate transactions and I might be using 4 separate methods. So if I could just use a single e-wallet and pay for everything and collect rewards as well, I feel that that's something as a user I would be quite interested in. And for a bank's perspective, from HSBC's perspective, we do feel that it is pretty interesting because these are both areas that are growing very quickly growing quickly and growing stably because I think as the world is digitizing, everybody wants entertainment, especially when there's a risk of being stuck at home nowadays. And we do feel that because the purchases are highly consistent, this would be able to generate consistent number of transactions, which is good for a bank and an e-wallet as well.
Yeah, maybe I'll just add on a little bit more onto that. So why would user choose this platform as opposed to purchasing directly from, say, Netflix itself is mainly twofold. So number one, by purchasing on this platform, you get an additional layer of rewards through the points that you are collecting, therefore incentivizing them to go to this platform. And secondly, from a user perspective, I have more visibility over my current spending. So I think the problem right now is that you buy here, buy there, you actually don't know what you're buying and you just lost track at some point. So by using this Play With Me app, it actually enables you to have an overview of your current spending. And for the, for example, Garena as well as Netflix, they have an incentive to partner with Play With Me for the sole basis that they want to expand and tap into new users. Yeah.
Okay. Just follow on that question. So you highlight competitor are actually the biggest risk in terms of the impact, etc. So with Play With Me, the new proposition, what if the competitor are trying to enter into the space? How do we make sure HSBC can continue to differentiate ourselves from the competitors?
Yeah, I think I'll take that question. Thank you so much. So I think that's one of the biggest reasons why we're really trying to penetrate into the gaming market as soon as possible. Because as of right now, it is not saturated yet. We have, as per the competitor analysis earlier, and the core verticals that our competitors are currently delving and venturing into, gaming and entertainment has not been fully tapped in yet. Hence why we believe that through our, by executing our strategies, we could be the first player to actually pioneer the market and hence lead the market And hopefully by leading the market and acquiring onboarding merchants earlier on, it will be much more difficult for our players to try to penetrate into the market itself. But let's say if they eventually do try to penetrate the market itself, we believe that with our capabilities of becoming a first player and a first mover within this already gives us great capabilities in terms of not only already identifying and knowing the consumer landscape a lot better than our consumers who have not entered the market yet, but rather we've also onboarded merchants and collaborators on board as well, which overall increases our position in this case.
I would like to add on a little bit to that. I believe as well that by fostering the initial relationships with these merchants from various gaming platforms and at the same time offering a highly competitive discount rate of only 1.5% to merchants for each of these transactions which they conduct on our space, we believe that we do have a competitive landscape by exploiting these verticals at a first mover advantage.
Also, just I think a quick one in terms of sort of like just the potential hit space for growth in this particular sector. We do believe that because entertainment is growing very quickly, it's not just limited to gaming. There's a lot of new services that pop up very quickly. So it's really like a big space for us to do so. So I think for us, if we are able to go in as soon as possible, and as my friend stated, get first mover advantage, we will be an advantage to react to the market when these other competitors come in. Say, for example, if WeChat Pay or Alipay decides to come in, while they have to focus on their core proposition, core products, we can already focus on actually innovating, such as providing game passes, or even providing more niche and specific lifestyle entertainment, such as news, subscriptions, or ebooks. So we do feel that by going in first and by setting up shop, we're able to not only grow into a highly sector with a lot of potential, but also we'll be able to react to we'll have sufficient time to react to our competitors as well.
I have a question on PayMe Insights, right? So basically you have Silver, which is essentially free. You have Gold and then you have Platinum. And I reckon where the money comes from will be Platinum, right? So within Platinum, I suppose you'll be selling to big merchants or global merchants. So how would you position such that they will have a need for your service, given that they have their own data and insights team? They already have established relationships with various financial offerings, right? Whether it's insurance, credit, deposit. I'm sure they would, by the time they grow to this size, they will not be going into like a fresh new relationship, right? There's a lot of legacies to go against. So what is then your pitch to the Platinum guys on how you're going to sell this service?
Thank you for that question. Understanding definitely that lots of these big enterprises actually have their own in-house data analytics team, but the differentiating between Platinum or why they should subscribe to our service is actually really the level of visibility that PayMe is able to provide. Because when you launch PayMe Insights, you have insights not only from the market itself, which is what you actually can buy lots of data reports online even, but also into individual customer spending insights. So for example, you can see that, people are usually cutting down on food by turning that into investment. And within investment, what exactly are people interested in? Are people going to FDs or people, putting money into crypto? And I think all these trends are insights that are valuable to big companies. But on the same time, while pushing this platinum services to big enterprises, I think gold is also another very revenue generating key driver for PayMe Insights. And the reason for this is because gold is more tailored towards SMEs, and SMEs constitutes 98% of the Hong Kong businesses. And it is usually these individuals who don't really automate processes. It is these individuals that need a bit more of the automation of operations. And this is where PayMe Insights come in to help them.
Okay, just to be on it, have you guys considered about data privacy laws as well as free data from competitors?
Okay, maybe I'll elaborate that and my teammates will chip in. So yes, we have actually evaluated data privacy laws, and then how we wanted to go about that is we're going to be conducting consistent risk assessments as well as compliance with cyber liability insurance and encryptions to better protect those data. As to your concern as to whether or not this data will become a free asset to all the other available competitors, we think not, because mainly number one, data actually changes within day. So data that is valuable a month ago may not be that useful for me to make a decision today. And which is why we say that as data grows, it will never come a point where you can rely on past data and the present data is no longer valuable.
I think I can just add on a little bit to Chihu's point just now. So basically on cyber liability insurance, what we're planning to do here is, in terms of mitigating this risk, is to definitely, when it comes to merchants especially, is to encourage them to purchase or get cyber liability insurance to protect their data. This is just an extension to why we've input cyber insurance and encryption here. But also, I would say, in terms of looking at this graph, we believe that the probability of actually having data privacy at risk here is slightly lower compared to the biggest risk here, which is external competition, because we believe that HSBC itself, as a banking with very strong encryption services and data privacy and a very strong team of people who are able to actually combat this, we believe that banks are one of the best players to actually offer the best data privacy for our users itself. Hence why in this case also, we believe that it is an advantage in comparison to other e-wallets that are not backed up by banks.
Just a comment, observation for you guys. There's a subtle difference between data security and data privacy. So security, by everything that you guys said, privacy is our ability to use information collected, right, based on your behavior, on your transactions, and then apply that information. So anyway, so all you said, I think, is spot on for security. You guys would have to just think a little bit more nuanced on privacy, right? Can you actually use the information in a way that is different to the way it was collected?
Thank you for clarifying that. Maybe I'll chip in here. So when it comes to data privacy, a hurdle for data privacy is, for example, phones like iPhones. They now require you to allow app to track your data. And I think for those, we'll offer sufficient incentives for these people to opt in for allow the app to track, because it's only when you allow app to track, you have more visibility on your spending, coupled with the in-app gamifications, whereby, for example, when you key in those data yourself, you're able to redeem certain rewards. And I feel that some users, especially due to the high cost of living in Hong Kong, certain individuals, especially the low to mid-income individuals, they are willing to forego a little bit of their data privacy in exchange for this convenience that is provided within the app.
Thank you.
Yes, maybe time for one very quick question. Anyone?
In terms of your P&L model, right? So I know it's kind of like a simulation, but how do you think the board would actually buy this, given that the revenue is only like 4 million? 4 million in Hong Kong is extremely low. And your cost is definitely very understated of 9 million. So 9 million is only enough for maybe one campaign burst of advertising. So any other views to add on to this? Financials?
For sure. Thank you very much, Ms. Jaslyn, for the feedback. And I think that essentially the revenue drivers, we believe that because PayMe is actually as of now, is not generating any revenues, we need to be conservative in our estimations of profit and loss. We believe that once we do start initiating Play With Me and PayMe, as you can see, our conversion rates are set at 4% and 1% respectively for our base case. And we believe that if we were to actually actualize revenues at a much higher scale, then we would, again, we would essentially lose loyalty and then lose stickiness. We believe that initially in year zero, essentially at a lower base case revenue of 4.2 million Hong Kong dollars, we believe that as the years goes on and progresses, and once we fully implement the tiering subscription model, we expect revenues to grow.
Thank you, David. I think we ran out of time.